Hi, I'm Zach Pratt, and I want to welcome you to another episode in my Woodchuck Cookbook. And today I'm going to be cooking no bok choy. That's for all you hunters out there that weren't lucky this year like me. So we're going to start out with no bok choy, and then I'm going to cook some meated food with chicken that didn't make it, Maine. So we're going to have chicken that didn't make it, Maine, and no bok choy. So this one's going to be no meat to begin with. So I'm going to get the pot started. And as you can see, I have a well-seasoned pan. I've been using this for quite a few years to make all my Chinese meals, stir fries. So we add in a good amount of oil, and I get it going on medium heat. There we go. So I get that warming up. And while that's warming up, I've got some bok choy, baby bok choy, and this is some beautiful stuff. You can see from the ends of it how nice and white it is. So this is really fresh. So what you got to do though is it holds dirt in between the leaves. So I peel all that, and I already have a bunch of it made here, but I peel it so you can do some washing. And you can save these for later, so put those back. I'm going to go and do some washing now of it. Get the dirt off. And I bounce as much water off of it as I can. And I already have some that I prepared earlier, so I wouldn't have to do a whole bunch now. And this is about 6 baby bok choy that I have here ready to go. So while the oil's heating up, you do that, plus I'm going to have onions. So I cut the onions up until the green part in about 1 or 2 inch lengths, and then I start chopping them smaller. This will be used for the garnishes. Okay. I'll cut these down into small chunks up until the leaf part and separate them. So make them bite-sized chunks, whatever you like. So this will make a serving for about three people when it's all finished here. And it has very few ingredients in it, basically. A little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of ginger. So there, because the leaves cook quicker, you separate those out. Okay, so I got my onions separated out here. Now I'm going to slice up some garlic in real thin slices. And I'm going to do about 4 of these garlics. And I have a piece of ginger here that I'm also going to do a couple of thin slices of. And you don't have to add any of this stuff or all of this stuff or even more than what I'm just doing here. It's all to suit your taste. Then I'm going to cut these into little thin strips. There. So this stuff is ready to go in the pot now. Let me see if the oil is warm enough. It should be. Swish it around the side. And then when I put the vegetables in, I'm going to add some oyster sauce and some light and dark soy sauce to it. So you can get those at your local Asian market, wherever that is, whatever that is here in Rutland. So then you add about 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. I'll add a little more. About 2.5 of that. And then of the light soy sauce, going to do a teaspoon. And then just half a teaspoon of the dark soy sauce. Now you stir it around. Don't know if you can see that. So you do this for about 2 or 3 minutes. Till it browns up a little bit. All the ingredients are really smelling wonderful in here. Okay, after that's gone on for about 2 or 3 minutes, then you want to add the stems. And just a little whisker of water. And again, you want to cook these for a little while till they just soften up, probably another 2 or 3 minutes. Now the reason I named this as the Woodchuck Cookbook is I have a lot of experiences with woodchucks and a lot of stories that go along with them. One of them in particular, so I used to come home from the Air Force and help out on the farm with the hay in the summer. And over in Castleton on the Crampton farm, between the railroad tracks and the Castleton River, I was raking hay one day, and I hit this woodchuck hole with a rake and the tractor, and I looked behind me to see, what I hit it, because I couldn't see it in the cut hay. And I saw this woodchuck running across the meadow and running through the different windrows that I'd put out there. So I thought, well, I'll just show this guy a lesson. I'll hop off the tractor and go do it. So I put that little gray Ford in neutral and figured, the rake would drag and it would slow it down. But there's a little bit of an incline towards the Castleton River there. Well, I'm off the tractor and I'm running after this woodchuck. So I get close to the woodchuck and I go to kick the woodchuck. And when I kick at the woodchuck buries his teeth in the back of my combat boot. So here I am with a 25-pound woodchuck on the back of my boot. I can see the tractor and the rake heading towards the Castleton River, and I got this 25-pound woodchuck that won't let go of my boot. So finally he did, and I got down to the tractor before I hit the river. But that was the last time I ever tried to put the boot to a woodchuck. So anyway, so now that that's cooked for a while, it's time to put in the leaves. So you just put these in long enough for the leaves to wilt. That's all. It doesn't take very long. You're almost there. Yeah, so I never tried, like I say, I never tried to put the boot to a woodchuck again. But I've had woodchucks up in trees. When I was under an apple tree there in Castleton one day, just smelling the fresh cut hay and enjoying that, I heard a rustle in the apple tree above me, and I look up, and there's a woodchuck looking down at me. And I'm like, holy cow, that's the first time I ever seen one up in a tree. Well, I have other stories where other woodchucks, I've got photos. I actually have a camera with me when they're up in the tree. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but the leaves are wilted now. So it's time to take out and serve it. Yeah. So let me move this off the heat. Take the heat right off. And I'm going to try it with chopsticks. Now, I'm not really good at using chopsticks, but I'm worth giving anything a try. So let's see how horrible I am at this. I really need to practice this, I guess. Okay, I'll stab it. No, I give up. But hopefully you won't give up, and I can do some more techniques, or somebody can tell me how to do it. But this is pretty good stuff. That's really good. My assistant Kim's here. Would you like to try some? No, you don't have to.
Fabulous.
And if it wasn't fabulous, she wouldn't say it was fabulous. I can tell you that for a fact.
If you don't like garlic, don't eat this dish.
Well, you can always use less garlic than I used in it too. You know that, don't you? No? Okay. So the next one, I'm going to add a little more oil to it. I'm going to do some chicken. Chicken chow mein. So I have some chicken here. So what I do is I slice it into real thin slices. And this is chicken breast, but you can use chicken thigh. You can do this with beef. You can do this with pork. You know, if you have some partridge laying around in the freezer you want to get rid of, this might be a good way to use it too. So you can use all sorts of different meats. You put that in there. And then again, you're going to use some of the same sauces as you used before in different quantities. So I use like a tablespoon of oyster sauce. Then a teaspoon of the light soy sauce. And half a teaspoon of the dark soy sauce. And if you don't have that, but you just have some other brand of soy sauce at the house, that'll work too. So also I take an egg. And I separate out the white.
Why?
Well, the white tenderizes the meat. The alkalinity in the egg white tenderizes the meat. But you can save the yolk to use for fried rice if you happen to be making fried rice at the same time. And then you put in some regular old cornstarch, which will help keep it moisturized. That should be enough. Well, I guess I'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way, huh? So you soak it all up, you coat it with this cornstarch. Add a little more cornstarch. Okay. You let that set. And then basically you're going to add some of the same things as before. I like to use celery, a lot of celery. And the Kong Chow restaurant was the first restaurant that I ever had Chinese in, right here in Rutland. And now it's Lee's Asian Market is there, but I used to go there when I was in grade school, and chicken chow mein was my favorite meal there. I guess it's because I liked a lot of celery and the bean sprouts. So I do a lot of celery. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 stalks here. Add a little bit of oil here. That makes it tender and gives it a nice little coat. Okay. So we get the oil in here cooking. And you want it to get it about 350 degrees if you can. And you want it at that higher temperature because the chicken won't stick to the sides of the pan if it's the oil's hot enough. There you go. So you let that cook. I know those railroad workers, they probably smelled this fine Chinese cooking here and decided to come on back for a taste. Bowl to put the chicken in. Yeah, that one. I think this will work. Okay, so then you take the chicken out, and then we're going to cook up the celery and the bean sprouts. This is basically just a chicken and celery and bean sprout meal. Is there a bigger plate over there, honey, someplace? Thank you. So once again, well, I don't quite have the heat that I need, but That one I have to remember is always the hottest one, I guess. So, now that that's cooked for a while, I got some bean sprouts here that I previously washed. They go in. I got some noodles that I'm going to put. Wonton noodles. Takes about as long as it does for the bean sprouts. That takes about 2 minutes. Oh, the fun of cooking. So after you cook that for a short while, you add the chicken back in. You mix that all up. And I make a little slurry. Which is just cornstarch and water. And add the gravy to the pot. Huh? Oh. So the rice wonton is through cooking. Well, this may not turn out to be the best chicken chow mein I make, but and you just put it over your noodles. And there you go. Well, my next cooking show is going to be all about sweet, so it'll be more about decorating than baking or cooking. So I hope this didn't scare you off, and I'll see you again in another month.